Hello everyone, so today I'm going to talk about how to uninstall Sitecore 9 using SIFless. In my previous tutorials I've kind of gone through how to install Sitecore 9 with SIFless and how to set up Solar, which is what I have open right now. We're kind of continuing up that series where I just finished installing my example.sc Sitecore instance, and now I'm going to try to uninstall it. So there's a few things that you're going to need to do in order to do that. The first thing is you're going to need to go out to this, if you search for SIFless uninstall, this will be the first link, and you can basically scroll down and there's going to be this area where it says download the uninstall script here. You basically go ahead and just download that. Basically that installs has a package of scripts that are used for uninstalling. When you unzip it, it's important to put the PSM1 files here in the root of your SIF folder, and then there's some other files that need to go in your configuration folder. So the remove-Sitecore Solar, remove-Sitecore XP0, etc. You need to make sure that you include these inside your Sitecore 9, whatever instance it is, configuration. So if you had just installed a Sitecore 9.0.1 installation, you need to include these remove-Sitecore Solar JSON files inside your Sitecore 9.0.1 configuration, and then here. So those are important to note. One other thing to do, if we go back up to the SIF folder, is you're going to have to right click on these and do properties, and just make sure there's a checkbox that's typically here after you uninstall something from the web that says unblock. Basically it's blocking these scripts from being run properly. If you don't use the unblock option, then you won't be able to run these in PowerShell. Lastly, I'm going to run this from a command prompt window or a PowerShell window, PowerShell ISE. This is where you're going to need to make sure that you have or using an execution policy of unrestricted. So you can do execution policy or set execution policy. Unrestricted. And there, now you've set this to unrestricted, so now the PowerShell scripts you're going to run are ready to go. When you run SIFless, or SIFless the executable, which is, I don't actually have that still running. So if we go back to the main folder here, which is where SIFless.exe is, when it runs, it creates some files, some PowerShell scripts that basically allow you to uninstall what you just installed. So the one I just installed will be this PowerShell script. What I want to do is I'm going to actually run it over here. And what's going to happen is it's going to go through, it's going to uninstall everything that the database is, it's going to go through and uninstall your website inside IIS. It's going to uninstall the application pools that it created. It's going to uninstall the SQL databases and all the users related to SQL databases. And it's probably also going to go through your host file and delete all the host file entries that you might have in there associated with this as well. So it's going to do a lot of different things, and I'm actually going to do a video where I go through these steps manually of all the steps that you would need to do to delete or remove your SIF or your Sitecore 9 instance that you just created. But it's important and very useful that you can actually go through this using a PowerShell script as well. And it doesn't really take that long to do. So once you get to the folder where your sif.exe exists, you're going to go in and you're basically going to run that uninstall process. So like I said, the one I want is SIFless-ez uninstall 15224468881.ps1. So to do, all I need to do that is do a // and then SIFless. It's not capital SIFless. I don't think it matters about case sensitivity. And like I said, I'm looking for the one that ends in 881. So 881 is this one. But that's not the uninstall, so I need to go down a little bit further. And then it's this guy right here. So Once it's ready to install, you just click enter, and it's just going to go through and start removing stuff. It's actually going to create a log file as well of the stuff it's removing. And by the time it's done, you're going to have all that example.se that I created previously is going to be uninstalled from the local machine. And now I can go ahead and install it again using SIFless. This usually works. I'm not sure why it didn't work this time, but it's a pretty cool tool. But I'm going to show in my next session how to uninstall by doing a more manual process. And I think that's really the best way to get rid of your Sitecore 9 instance, is just to go have a checklist of all the steps of the things that you need to delete, and then you just go through there and just delete the things that you don't need, unless you want to build a PowerShell script that is a little bit more flexible, and if it doesn't find something, it just continues on with the next thing. So have a good one.